Welcome back, man. Episode 104 of Brick Shots with Billy Antonio. Antonio's absent from the show this week. He did it on a plane last week, but apparently this week it's a bit too much for him to get on. So we're going to do our first all-white show, or second. It might be second.
We replaced him with Matt, though, so we're in good hands.
Matt's finally back from his quitting hiatus. He said he was going to quit, but he's like Blink-182, where he's like, all right, I need some money, so let me just join back on the pod.
Or Slayer. Or Slayer.
I don't even know who that is either. So,
okay, don't do that, Matt. Chris, you doing okay?
Yeah, I'm good. Finally went back to work. Legs hurt like shit because I haven't really used them for the last 2.5 weeks, but we're getting through it, getting back to normal.
Up? Matthew.
Hello. Trying to get this fucking lamp out of my face.
Excuse me. There we go. Yeah.
What was the question? Sorry, I couldn't hear you with this fucking Super 7 motel.
How you doing? That's all I said.
Oh, I'm up here where Forrest Gump stopped running.
Damn.
Literally. I'm literally at that location.
What's the line? He's just like, and I was tired of running, and he turns around or something.
And I was tired of running.
I've only seen Forrest Gump all the way through maybe 3 times. It's so long. It's too long to fucking care about. But let's get into something else no one cares about. Jimmy G, the most handsome quarterback in the NFL, gets suspended for PED use. How many games is it, Chris?
It's 2 games, and I don't know that I think PED is just a blanket term they use for drugs.
Blue Chew.
That are on the ban list, essentially. But it was for a prescription that he did not have a valid therapeutic use exemption for.
So if it was like Adderall or something, it would be controlled substance. That's what Josh Gordon got a lot of.
But he wouldn't stay off the weed.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I don't know that he had prescriptions for all the substances that he was consuming and partaking in.
Well, it's hard to get those scripts apparently. But Jimmy G being suspended, does that do anything to the QB market if you're thinking about signing Jimmy G anyway? Because I don't think anyone's taking him to be their starter. Am I tripping on that, Chris?
Isn't he still under contract with Oakland?
Cut.
I don't see him on this quarterback free agent list. I'm pretty sure he's still under contract with Oakland.
That came out and he got cut. Or the plans were to release him before a deadline.
Oh, yeah. But remember, because he always has those weird, physicals where he, takes them too late or something, and then it's you already owe him $8 million. Because
it's March 16th, fucking off-season's over, and they're like, all right, now my contract will hit.
Yeah, and he's like, all right, cool, give me my money real quick.
Yeah, he's still got 2 years under contract. There's a potential out in 2025. That would leave the Raiders with $12.8 million in dead cap. If they cut him this year,
was he a healthy scratch when Antonio Pierce took over too? Was he just nah, fuck all that?
Yeah, he didn't get hurt this year. This is his first year healthy and he didn't even play.
That's what I thought too. That's why I was like, who gives a fuck that he's suspended? He's not going to play. It doesn't matter. Aiden O'Connell didn't look good. If I'm a Raiders fan, I'm not upset, but I'm also like, what else are we going to do? Are we going to draft a quarterback? Matt, what do you think?
Yeah, they definitely 1,000% need to draft a quarterback. I don't know if you guys know. Take a guess at how old do you think Aiden O'Connell is?
27. He's old.
Yeah, you're close. 25. That's entering Brandon Weeden territory, and no one talked about it. What's wrong with drafting all these old quarterbacks? They're not going to get any better.
First round though. He didn't go in the first round.
He was a 4th rounder. That's still pretty high. You think a 4th round quarterback, he's either a starter or a high end backup.
He could be a high end backup. I mean, he was winning games. The Raiders went 5-4 in the last 9 games.
That's because they got fucking old what's his nuts out of there. I could have went in there and led them to 5-4. You got Max Crosby on one side and fucking Devontae Adams on the other side, you're going to win some games with those two guys alone.
Did you see Antonio Pierce's him and Max Crosby did like a podcast together? I don't know what podcast it was. It wasn't a big one, right? Was it Bussin'?
No. Where Antonio Pierce wearing that blue button up?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was just spilling all the beans.
Dude, I was
he didn't give a fuck. He's like, I got signed. I'm talking.
Yo, I was watching I was watching clips because again, I don't know the podcast. Like, if it was Bustin', I probably would have watched the whole thing. But I'm watching. I'm like, dude, he's not even doing this on like a big time pod. This is just a regular fucking run of the mill podcast. Now it might get more views than ours, but at the same time, like you didn't go on Bussin' with like Will Compton, they love the Raiders forever. You didn't go to fucking Cowherd's Volume. You didn't go nowhere. You didn't go to Club Shay Shay, like nothing. You're just on some guy's podcast talking about this. I thought that was wild.
Yeah, and then
I'm pretty sure Shannon said he shouldn't have. The Raiders shouldn't have kept him around. So I doubt he's going to be wanting to speak to Shannon anytime soon.
Look that up, Chris. I don't know if Shannon would say some shit like that.
Shannon shits on players and coaches all the time. What are you talking about?
No, but he's a Hall of Famer. He could do that. I'm just saying I don't think he said it about this particular coach or player. But that was – so it is kind of a slow week, so we kind of have some weird topics. That was just going to be what we lead off with. The only reason I led off with that is because I've made a promise since I think it was episode 7 we led off with the Cowboys, and I'll never do that ever again on this show. But Micah Parsons – yeah, thank you. Micah Parsons was the Celebrity All-Star Game MVP. All he's doing is great things except for his actual job that he's paid for, which is just wild. His podcast is great. His podcast is awesome. I don't know if Chris has seen it. I know he doesn't watch sports.
Nope.
Shows. Matt, have you seen his podcast?
I've seen the clips because it's on Bleacher Report, right? So
yeah.
I use the Bleacher Report app, and they're always just shoving it down my throat. But I've never watched like a full episode.
I just think it's cool. There is something to say. Chris can be mad if he wants to, but there is something to say about current players, especially New Heights, because New Heights is awesome. But like, there's something to be said about
Brown
current
Brothers.
players, huh?
See, I've only watched
Brown
New
Brothers
Heights.
have a good one too.
Oh, they do.
I've only watched New
Yeah,
Heights depending on the guest.
They don't. The Brown Brothers, so Equanimus, I think I just said that right. And then Amon Ra, they do like 30 to 40 minute podcasts where it's just they get on, they're like, "Hey, you fucking suck this week. We won." And then they have a guest on, and they just had Justin Fields on this week.
Oh,
but they only do like 30 minutes, so it's easy to just sit there, watch the whole thing, be like, that was good. And then next one, it's not like, all right, are we gonna get into something good? They just get straight to the questions.
That's what's up. Because so hold on, Chris, you don't like New Heights either?
I've only seen a couple episodes. I watched the one with Shannon because I watch pretty much everything other than First Take that Shannon does.
First Take is so bad. But I was gonna say my favorite New Heights episode was the one where Kylie Kelsey was on. I thought that was super cool. Like getting into because I still haven't seen Kelsey the Amazon show. Have y'all seen that one yet?
No.
Yeah.
You said you've seen it, Matt?
No, I said no.
Oh, okay. Because I want to watch it, but watching her just kind of like have her own conversations about it, I thought it was super cool. But Micah Parsons, anyway, sorry, let's get off that. But Chris, how do you feel about your guy who didn't do shit in the playoffs, had a good regular season again, but again, didn't show up in the playoffs? What is that about? Is that just because teams are scheming towards him to not let him disrupt what's going on, or what?
Dominant players show up when it matters. Chris Jones is a perfect example of that.
He didn't have any sacks in the Super Bowl. What are you talking about?
Any big play, you saw him in Purdy's face. Purdy couldn't get a fucking throw off. Like, just because you don't have a sack doesn't mean you can't show up and make an impact on the game. Micah Parsons got shut the fuck out in the game against Green Bay. He might as well have been on the bench the entire time. Like, I don't know if I saw him in the backfield once. He didn't do shit the whole game. And then he shows up at the NBA Celebrity All-Star Game, and he's the best fucking player on the court. Why can't you be the best player on the fucking field of the sport that you get paid to play? Win the games matter.
This is going to be the only time I ever defend the Cowboys or any Cowboy player. They use Micah in way too many positions that eventually one game he's not going to have a great game because they just don't use him right. It's not like, hey, just put your hand in the dirt like a Max Crosby and just, hey, your only job is this. They're like, nah, you're going to be a middle linebacker. You're going to go play safety. You're going you're gonna do this, you're gonna do that. But like, eventually, that's gonna
He
rotate
can,
through
he
his.
is talented enough to do that.
Yeah, but
His
eventually it's gonna
position is
rotate.
pass
It's gonna
rusher.
rotate to a game where they're like, we're gonna use him this way, and then he's just not effective. Like it doesn't make an impact.
Like in the playoff games.
Yeah. Well, the last one that mattered. Well, the only one that mattered.
So,
Yeah.
so this kind of brings me to the next point. Again, like we said, this show is going to kind of be not topic driven really because there's not a whole lot of shit going on. I think after this show, we'll get a little bit more into NBA stuff.
NBA season's starting to get to the good part, but there's obviously no more football. It was All-Star weekend in the NBA, so there was no basketball.
Yep.
Spring training just started, so there's no baseball. College football, like the recruiting craze is already gone, so there's not really much happening there. It's just
I think the transfer portal has absolutely ruined recruiting for like on a grander scheme. Am I tripping on that? Let's do that real quick. Like, I was just gonna say, I just think it's like we're not worried about the recruiting classes as much as we were in years past. Now we're
because
worried
you've seen the players play, so you know exactly what these schools are getting. Whereas if you're getting a 5-star recruit, like the chances are he'll be good, but you won't see it for a year because most of them it seems like they're redshirt. So the recruiting portal is just more exciting.
Arch Manning has the number 2 NIL deal in all of college football, and Quinn Ewers has the fucking, I think it's like, it might be 4th, but I think it's 3rd. And it's like, those are both dudes, and Quinn's coming back. So you're sitting here with like, what the fuck are we doing with both these quarterbacks just sitting back here? And Arch isn't going to transfer. He's going to have 2 more years of eligibility, right? And that's it. That's all we're going to get to see for Arch. And I think it is ruining it. And it's like for Michigan, let me go to you, Matt, real fast. For Michigan, a lot of these players that are opting out, do you think they're opting out because of Harbaugh leaving? Even though Sharon is still there and he's going to
we've only had one player opt out.
But it was like y'all's biggest defensive player, right?
No, he was a very high recruit, but he only started 3 games for us. He played well. He made his biggest game he had was in the college football playoffs versus Alabama, and then also he had a pretty good game versus Washington. But then he transfers to Alabama, and it's like, and this is not just like a Michigan thing. This is like Caleb Downs from Alabama to Ohio State. Like, you don't have a better chance of winning a national championship at Ohio State than you do Alabama. It's about the same at this point with a new head coach. It's the same. So like same as Michigan to Alabama, it's going to be about the same like percentage of who's going to win this year. You might as well just stay on the defending national championship if that's what you want. But NIL is just ruining. Is like, oh, I just won a national championship, but I can make $500,000 more this year instead of like building a legacy, higher draft stock. I just want to go chase that bag real quick, which I totally understand.
Okay.
But it's ruining college football as a whole. That makes sense. Just because it's like, why would you go from that team to that team? Now I could see where it makes sense is you go from University of Massachusetts to Michigan, like a Josh Wallace did, became a starting corner and took his draft stock from maybe undrafted to maybe a 3rd round pick because he did that. But you're just going from a powerhouse to powerhouse. You're like, they offered me a car dealership deal. I'm out of here. See you, boys. Like, it doesn't make sense.
So, Matt, you're telling me you wouldn't like transfer for a fucking car if they were like, hey, get out.
Not if I'm a starting player on a national championship team. Like, it does. I get Michigan won. I'm being a little biased here.
Yeah.
But, like, I just won a national championship as a starter. There's no one starting over me. I'm still making money. It's not like Michigan's not giving you NIL deals or we wouldn't have won a national championship. We would have 0 players. But
fuck that. There's no guarantee you make it to the next level. I'm going to the highest bidder while I still have this ability to earn this money over these 4 years of eligibility.
If you're a starter on a national championship team, you're going to the next one. Guaranteed. Now, will you get a second contract?
Matthew,
probably not.
The 2003 Heisman winner. Do you know who his name was? What was his name?
I don't. I'm not Frank from Barstool. I don't know every Heisman.
So 2003, real fast. I'm gonna get a sorry, John. While we're sitting here, sorry, John. I think it was 2003. Jason White, the quarterback from Oklahoma. You know what happened to him?
Oh yeah.
Heisman winner, national champion, undrafted, nothing, didn't get anything, and he's a fucking real estate agent now.
Hey, yeah, but he can use Heisman. He won a Heisman. He can piggyback that on every resume the rest of his life. his life's set up. Johnny Manziel, I don't even think he has a job, and he still parties and goes places. All right, he still got money, right?
I will say though, if a Heisman winner was like, "I won the Heisman," I'm gonna just look for a house with this guy. I don't care what I find. I'm just gonna be like, "All right."
Yeah,
whatever.
if I'm in that area buying a house and this guy's like, "Yeah, I won a Heisman in 2003." Oh, buddy, let me just talk to you. You're gonna help me. Like, I don't care if you give me a shit deal. I bought a house from a Heisman winner.
That's true.
Hey, for what
I'll
it's
take a picture
worth,
with him and the Heisman, dude. Just like
Yeah,
my best friend.
Johnny
right here.
Football is not partying anymore, or at least he's not
All right.
drinking.
he still goes on golfing trips and all the fun stuff besides hard drugs and alcohol.
Good for him.
Cool. He's still partying.
But while we're on the Cowboys, and again, like I said, we're not leading the show off with it. So it's rumored. Chris had a Facebook status about this and was not happy.
What the fuck else are you gonna butcher me with today, Billy?
So it's rumored that Dak Prescott is going to reset the quarterback market, and by making $60 million a year. Now we're saying $60 million, but I think it's 58.8 million a year. It's 3 years, 175. Depending on the salary cap, whatever's guaranteed and all that shit, because he's going to restructure because he's still signed. And before Chris goes, I just want to throw out there, these are the biggest cap hits in the NFL at quarterback, right? The biggest year per salary or year salary per year. There we go. So just to walk it down before Dak signs another extension, because he will sign an extension, Chris, right?
I unfortunately don't think Jerry's gonna let him go.
All right. So biggest cap hits. Number one, Joe Burrow. What did the Bengals do this year? Nothing, because he got hurt. Justin Herbert. What did the Chargers do? Nothing, because he got hurt.
Went out and got a real head coach so they can do something this year.
That doesn't take away the cap hit from this year. Now, Lamar Jackson. This is where it kind of gets a little in there, right? Lamar Jackson. What did he do? Got to the AFC title game. Didn't play great. Got to an AFC title game. You should be okay with what's going on. Am I wrong with that, Chris? Like you said, can the guy win?
No, he did good this year.
Okay. Should he have been the MVP? We didn't talk about NFL honors, I don't think.
I still think Purdy probably should have won the MVP, but I'm not upset that Lamar won it.
Matt?
I think McCaffrey should have won the MVP. I think for quarterbacks, it was a year. It wasn't like the years where fucking Breeze and Brady are battling out 5,700 yards in 16 games. 50. It was just like, yeah, we got some good quarterbacks leading their teams, but not doing anything crazy. When McCaffrey's out here, 1,800 yards, 700 yards receiving, or whatever it was, 2,000 all-purpose yards. I don't know what his stats were, but he had like 2,000 all-purpose yards, close to 30 touchdowns, like as a running back. Like, come on.
No, and I'm with you guys. I do think the down year for the quarterbacks, I think this was the 1 year to not give it to a quarterback. I'm happy Lamar got two. It kind of justifies the contract. Maybe I'm tripping a little bit, but I do think that kind of helps. Like, oh, okay, he's making big money, but at least he's the MVP.
It helps you in 10 years to be like, no, all right.
I mean, yeah. Excuse me real fast. But I will say, so Lamar's third. Jalen Hurts is fourth, right? Fifth is Russell Wilson. Yikes, that's a bad deal now. Sixth, Kyler Murray. Bad deal. 7, Deshaun Watson, the fucking worst deal of all time, probably. Pat Mahomes is 8th, which, I mean, fuck, that guy's winning.
And he's still got a lot of years on that deal, too, I'm pretty sure.
He's
a
like
lot of
left.
years.
Josh Allen, who can't get past anywhere except Patrick Mahomes, can't do it. And then it's Dak at 10, and then 11 is Stafford, and 12 is Danny Dimes. Now, I do think we act like these quarterbacks making all this money hinders the teams, right? And maybe this is a hot take, but I don't think it does anymore. I think the way it's structured, the way the salary cap is, we're not paying running backs. A lot of receivers, especially if you're looking at teams like, let's look at the Ravens, the Chargers, only for right now, because the Bengals are going to change that up. They're not paying receivers. The Eagles with Jalen Hurts are paying receivers. The Broncos are not paying any receivers. Kyler Murray's sitting there with almost nothing to throw to, and we gave Lamar this excuse the whole time. I really wish Tonio was here for this, but we gave Lamar a big excuse for not having receivers. Kyler's
Lamar's not playing Call of Duty every fucking second and getting put in his contract. You gotta fucking study game film.
That's true. He does always talk about winning a Super Bowl for Baltimore. He does that's
Yeah,
what he
Kyrie's
does.
talking about. It's a double XP weekend this weekend, guys. I don't think I can play Sunday. The fuck out of here!
That is bonkers.
Don't ever compare Kyler to fucking Lamar, please.
I'm just saying, in the sense of not having any receivers, you gave Kyler Lamar's number one receiver, and he didn't do shit with it, and he doesn't have any receivers other than that. I like Rondale Moore. I think if Rondale Moore gets released, I think whoever gets him gets a fucking steal. Christian Kirk went from Arizona, got a bag. People said he was overpaid. I love Christian Kirk. I don't think he was overpaid per se.
His head's too big.
Was that?
His head is literally too big.
His head is
He's
huge.
done well in Jacksonville, though, hasn't he?
He's done well, but I feel like maybe just watching the games, and I'm not saying I'm dissecting the film or anything, but watching the Jaguars games, T. Larry does kind of force it to Christian Kirk a little bit, and I don't know if that's coming from upstairs or if that's just kind of the relationship that T. Larry has with him.
Shit, this is where we need Christian at, because Christian, our podcast Christian, because he was shitting on Christian Kirk all year.
He
Had
was
him in fantasy, couldn't fucking stand him.
no, but again, Christian is bad at fantasy, so that's not
He
really.
also only played. Christian Kirk played the first half of the season, and then as soon as he stopped playing, that's when the Jaguars were like, "Oh, we're not a good team.
Yeah.
I fooled you all."
Yeah. But just so Chris, all these names that I just sent it out for cap hits, right? Are you upset with how the quarterback play is for some of these cap hits? Because we didn't even get to a Kirk Cousins, So these cap hits, I know you like to shit on Dak, but you got to kind of look at it and Dak does deserve to be paid with these guys who also don't do shit in the playoffs and beat up on bad teams.
I don't know if I agree with that. So I don't know where you got the numbers you gave, but according to Spot Track, for the 2024 season coming up, Dak is the number 2 cap hit.
No, this year.
59. Oh, this year?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll go. We're talking about next year, so I'm gonna reference this list for next year. Deshaun at 1, that was a bad contract when it was signed. It was.
Oh, hold on, real fast, and Matt just kind of bounced out some. Okay, the Deshaun Watson contract, would that have been bad if Deshaun Watson showed himself like the Houston Texan Deshaun Watson we saw before he got suspended? I don't think that's a bad contract if he looks like that.
I think it's a bad contract when you pay a guy that hasn't played in 2 years. You haven't seen game film of him for 2 years, not to mention all the off the field shit, and you're bringing him in to be your franchise quarterback, leader of the team, on 100% fully guaranteed contract.
That's the
so
only
you
way
have
to get him.
no protection. Well, yeah, because you're a desperate franchise that nobody wants to play for because you've been fucking garbage since Jim Brown played for you.
Matt, are you going to reiterate those thoughts or what?
I don't know what he said. My internet cut out, and then I had to come back. All I heard, I'm assuming we're talking
Basically
about
talked
Deshaun
about how
Watson.
the Browns are a shit organization and they paid Deshaun Watson way too much money.
But let's
I
say,
think
real fast, Matt. Let's say Deshaun Watson played very well, got them to the playoffs exactly what Joe Flacco did, but it was Deshaun Watson the whole time. And let's say they beat the Texans and then go lose to the Ravens. Are we still upset with the Deshaun Watson contract if that's how it played out? Do you still think it's a bad contract?
It was still 5 years, $230 million, fully guaranteed. That's what, 45 a year?
Yeah, but
That's a lot of fucking money for a guy that hasn't played in 2 years, man.
it's a lot of money for a guy that hasn't played in 2 years, but you got 9 other quarterbacks making almost the same thing for doing what the Cleveland Browns are doing anyway. So it can't be. My thing is, I think it's we're looking at it like it's the worst deal ever, but the Browns are still doing very well. So it's like it can't be that bad. It's not the Russell Wilson contract. I think is worse because the Broncos haven't even sniffed the fucking playoffs. The Browns with that contract have still got there.
With Russell Wilson, though, he was coming off good years. Like, that was – I don't know that people thought it was a horrible contract when it was signed.
Go ahead, Matt. What do you think to say?
Well, he said Russell Wilson was coming off good years. Yeah, Deshaun Watson didn't play for a year and a half, 2 years before that. But leading up to that, if besides all the allegations, he deserved every penny of that contract until he started actually playing on the contract.
Yeah.
Is that like he just once we got, we're like, yeah, that's a lot of money, but that's fucking Deshaun Watson. Took the dumpster fire Texans, to the playoffs multiple times where he didn't start any of the playoff games. I'm pretty sure
He did.
Conveniently got hurt like week 17 or something. It felt like. And
No, he lost to Josh
what's that
Allen,
shitty ass backup?
He lost to Josh Allen the first year the Texans went to the playoffs without
JJ.
DeAndre Hopkins. Won a playoff game in Houston without DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah, but I feel like every playoff game after that, it was that one white backup quarterback
TJ Yates.
who conveniently TJ Hayes, you tune into a playoff game and it's like, why is this guy playing? And it's like, Deshaun Watson, he's getting a massage right now.
Yeah.
TJ Hayes, TJ Yates, probably the same player.
Exact same guy. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So number 2 on the cap hit list going into next year at the quarterback position is Dak at $59.4 million.
Who's one? Is it Deshaun?
Yeah, Deshaun's one at 63.9.
Jesus Christ. Okay, Dak's 2. Who's 3?
3 would be Mahomes. Mahomes
you
at
both said that?
58.6. Not upset about that at all. Kyler Murray at 4.
Bad contract again.
51.8. Terrible contract. Thought it was a terrible contract when it was signed because it had already come out that he had work ethic issues.
So
and
let's
the
say
interviews that his dad did for him where he couldn't even fucking talk to reporters and answer questions, like that, to me, it just showed horrible leadership from him, and that's not a guy that I want to pay.
so, but let's say that shit didn't come out. The film obligation or whatever it was called at the time. Let's say that doesn't come out. Do we still look at Kyler like, oh, you're a piece of shit? Because we're looking at him like he's a piece of shit because he wants to play fucking video games and you're making NFL money. But if that's not in his contract, is that a bad contract? I don't think so.
I don't think he's a quality enough player to be making top 5 quarterback money. I don't think he's anywhere close to that level. I think at best he's a middle tier quarterback, but the way quarterback contracts work, for whatever reason, if you're next up, you're getting top of the market, whether you're Daniel Jones or Patrick Mahomes.
No, that's true. Okay, but keep going on the cap hits.
5 is Stafford at $49.5 million. Don't have a problem with that one.
You won a Super Bowl.
Health-wise, well, no, I think he's an elite talent, but health-wise, I do think it's getting a little scary now with the back issues.
Elite.
He didn't have any back issues this year. He hurt his thumb, so continue.
It's still a concern, though. He's entering old man territory.
Okay, because he's 30. He's 37. Everything's a concern. 35,
Yeah.
36,
And,
whatever.
and he's had one good playoff run. One. That's it.
Well, he's been hurt. Well, as you look at that team on paper,
That's why it's a bad contract. But Chris is okay with it because he's a Super Bowl champion. And Chris says, no. Yes, that's the only reason that contract is okay.
Pretty much.
It's a Joe Flacco effect. When he won for the Ravens, everybody's like, you got to pay him. And
I thought that contract was going to backfire on him tremendously, but at the same time, he just
won a
had the
Super
best
Bowl.
playoff
Who
run
cares?
ever.
The best playoff run ever.
Exactly.
You win a Super Bowl, who cares? You win a Super Bowl, and if you suck for 6 years, let's say you suck for 10 years, who gives a fuck? You got to ring.
10 years is much. I'll give you 3 years. You can get
And
3 years, and
Well,
then
is your
it's see you,
franchise-
Belichick. You got to go.
When is the last time your franchise? I'm going to your franchise because you want to attack mine.
29 years.
All right. 12 for me. Just want to throw that out there.
Next on the list, number 6. This is we're all going to say he doesn't deserve this money because I'm pretty sure we all said it when he signed the fucking contract. Daniel Jones.
Bad.
Absolutely not.
Fuck.
47.1 mil.
Eesh.
I'm just happy that the Giants are in my division, and
Have
They
y'all seen some
continue
of the
to make
mock drafts
shitty
where the Giants are
decisions.
taking quarterbacks?
They should.
Jesus Christ, dude.
They
But
got a
yeah,
shitty
I think he's
quarterback.
I think he's worth it.
That's what
4
I'm
years, 160 million, Matt.
One, it's not a long-term contract. It's short because look at that roster. Who else are they going to pay? They got to pay someone. I mean, they don't have to,
They were
but
in
if you
cap
got it,
hell.
use it.
Yeah, they only got
From
like
who?
14
They don't have
players.
anyone on the team.
They paid a shitload of free agent contracts that didn't pan out. I think it was who was the
Now, that's
GM
the
before
problem.
this most recent one? Gettleman.
Gettleman, yeah.
Yeah,
And he's-
Gettleman completely fucked their cap up. They were over the cap when they franchised Daniel Jones. I'm pretty sure.
Do you think
Like their cap
Daboll had
situation
anything to
is
do with
not
that?
good. No, I would seriously doubt that Dayball coming from Buffalo, where he had Josh Allen, who spoiler alert is next on the list at 7, came into New York and was like, "That's my fucking guy right there."
Even though
I
he had
seriously
a
doubt
really
that
good
happened.
season, Chris, right? He had a really good season in this first year.
Yeah, Dayball finally got him to not fucking throw the ball on the ground every time somebody breathed in his general direction,
And then what
and
happened?
they were able to win a few games.
11 to be exact, and win a playoff game.
And then they were right back in the toilet this year, where they've been every year of Daniel Jones' career because he's a fucking bum.
Sucks. Jesus Christ.
So we did spoil it. 7 on the list is Josh Allen, making about $50,000 less than Daniel Jones. I already know where Billy's going to go. I'm pretty sure Matt's with me on this, so we'll just make it a compliment sandwich, and I'll lead it off. I think Josh Allen's absolutely worth the money. I think if Patrick Mahomes wasn't in the AFC, that would be Josh Allen's conference. It'd be right there, him and Lamar, battling it out for the Super Bowl just about every year. Great talent. Pretty much carries that team. The only offensive talent on that team, aside from him, in my opinion, is Stephon Diggs. And I think they had a tight end that was pretty good
and
too.
Kincaid is really good.
Yeah,
Real fast,
Kincaid's pretty solid
let me
too.
clear it up real fast for you, Chris. It's not that I'm a Josh Allen hater. I think he's a great talent.
You are.
I just think I am, but so it's just we try to throw him into the stratosphere with Patrick Mahomes when he can't do it. He got to the AFC title game one time. Lamar gets shit on for his playoff record because he's had a first round bye 2 different times. So his playoff record is a little more skewed than Josh Allen's wins that he's got. Lamar's also been hurt for some of those playoff wins, or excuse me, for some of those playoff games. And Josh Allen we're just acting like he is amazing when he's just a talented quarterback. It's the same argument with Justin Herbert. I'm not saying Justin Herbert sucks. I'm just saying you can't have it in
Herbert doesn't have any playoff success, so that's why I don't fight with you as much on Herbert. Like Allen's 500 or one game under 500. He's got 5 or 6 playoff wins at this point.
Yeah, no, and that's good. But I'm saying in a atmosphere with Patrick Mahomes, whose playoff numbers on a regular season is MVP times 100. There's nowhere you're gonna fucking throw an MVP if you take his playoff stats and make it a regular season game. Go.
All right, it's Billy. So we're talking about Patrick Mahomes, obviously greatest quarterback of all time, right? But
Second right
you
now.
look at no, he's the best. So you look at the situations he's in. You got Andy Reid, offensive genius, right? Paired with a very, very elite quarterback. Now you look at Doug McDermott. He's a fucking idiot who quotes Al Qaeda to get his team fucking hyped up. And then he's got Josh Allen, and he's like, I don't know anything about offense, but you want to go wrestle? Like, that's Doug McDermott. Like, you can't compare. Like, Josh Allen, you put him in. Doug McDermott's a wrestler, not a football guy.
Doug McDermott is
He's
a fucking NBA player.
What's the fuck his name?
Sean McDermott.
What's the Sean McDermott? Whatever. See, he's
You're talking
irrelevant.
about Dougie Buckets,
He's irrelevant.
man. Come on now.
Yeah, I was Dougie McBuckets. But anyways, Sean, Doug, same fucking thing.
Hey, that's
right?
no different from Romeo Crennel being they were who they thought they were.
Exactly. Who do we say it was?
Yeah,
Romeo fucking Crennel.
I am.
That's Dennis Green. I am. Who do you think you are?
Yeah, he just threw his last strike the other day.
I know.
Anyways, he Sean McDermott's an offensive idiot, pretty good on defense, right? But he doesn't. He calls time. He's the worst clock manager of all time. If they weren't winning games, we'd be like, Bruce Staley, get the fuck out of Buffalo. Like, it's
They
the
said
same
about
thing.
Andy Reid.
Yeah, Andy
No,
Reid's
Andy
always
Reid
been
is a
notoriously
fucking
bad with
genius.
the clock.
But he's bad with the clock.
But
Keep him on that.
but he's good on off. So he'll get you a ton of yards. He'll put you in the position, but he'll fuck it up. Sean
Then he'll
McDermott
forget
does
to
neither of
call a
those things.
timeout to kick a field goal. So,
Yeah, but he's won Super Bowls. Sean McDermott hasn't done anything. But you swap roles. You trade Josh Allen for Patrick Mahomes. You put him in an offense where, yeah, his wide receivers will drop 18 passes a game, but he'll be doing similar things to Mahomes where he can move around, get the ball. Now, I'm not saying he's going to magically make things happen and throw it backwards with his left hand like Mahomes. He's not going to do any of that stuff, but he's going to play similar to him. They're like a similar talent-wise. Just one is just in a better system to
he's
thrive.
a more erratic, off-brand Mahomes. Like, I see
No,
where you're
one of
going
them-
with it, but to say that Mahomes is
One of
like
them was
way up
one of them was a
here.
crack baby. One of them, his mom smoked crack while he was in the womb, and the other one was like, "Here's some milk, here's some vitamin D, here's some protein." Like that. That's the difference.
I don't know, man. Mahomes is scrambling around to keep plays alive and getting a 10-yard game. Josh Allen's like, there's pressure. Other team
Well,
take
that's
the
because
ball.
he's got his offensive line is if they don't hold, they're not pass blocking. So if they get caught for a hold, oh fuck. So they just let people go. It's the worst offensive line of football. Other than when they play in the Super Bowl, no sacks
Do I
allowed.
need
the
to
last
remind
three.
you about the Chiefs' right tackle the first half of the season? He got called for like 30 holds a game. He got benched.
And the false
Exactly.
start. He had so many false starts for attacks.
Oh, was it? Am I mixing up the penalties?
Yeah,
Was it
because
false
they
start?
didn't call
Okay.
him the Lions game. They didn't call him the first game, but the second
Chris
game he did the
Collinsworth,
same
the
thing.
whole
They're-
game was like, so and see, dude, here's the thing, real fast too. People shit on Chris Collinsworth all the time, and I don't understand why. I like Collinsworth. That whole
Because
the
he's
week
not
one-
John Madden.
He
He
what?
replaced John Madden, and he's nowhere close to as good or as charismatic as John Madden. That's
Sorry,
why.
that's the way shit fucking happens. John got old. Rest in peace to John Madden. But he got old. That's just the way the fucking cookie crumbles. Chris does a great job. So does Greg Olson, who's going to be replaced by Brady. Greg Olson is awesome.
People hate on Greg Olson for no reason.
For no,
Greg
he's
Olson's
a
fucking
fucking best.
great.
It's because he's handsome. I really believe that's what it is. If Greg Olson was ugly, they'd all be like, "Oh, he's the fucking man."
Burkhardt's like a solid B-, but Greg Olson's an A+.
I
Greg
like
Olson's
Greg Olson.
fucking great.
But fuck, I forgot where we're going with that. Oh, but Chris Collinsworth was calling every time. He's like, "Jawan Howard
Slot wide
is
receiver.
not Jawan Howard." Fuck,
Jawan Taylor.
Jawan Taylor. Thank you. He was like, "Jawan Taylor."
We're
is
just
out
naming
here."
basketball players today.
I don't know, dude. You fucked me up. That's what I had to say. But he was like,
We
this
need to talk
guy
about
is-
basketball, I guess.
He was like, here's a guy who's starting way before the play starts. And it's like, he is
Call him a slot
like
wide receiver.
half. Dude, Aiden Hutchinson had no chance in that game. He had no fucking
And, no, he was still beating them too. He was already pass blocking. Everyone's sitting. He's just running
Dude,
past them.
That's what I'm saying, though, is like that's why you get, oh, dude, it was crazy. But anyway, I just wanted to stop the Chris Collinsworth hate.
I guess let's just let's continue
Yeah.
saying NBA players instead of NFL people. I think we're all taking Patrick Beverly over Josh Allen. I think that's safe to say.
I do that.
Patrick Beverly is Patrick Mahomes in this case for
I would
the
rather
people that
take
may
that.
be confused.
Oh, excuse me.
So are we just doing top 10, I assume?
Keep going.
So the next on the list is Derek Carr at 35.7 mil. He's number 8. Now, I pointed this out while you were taking a piss, so you might not have heard this. The reason Derek Carr's cap hit is so high is because he only got 7.2 million in the first year of the contract. His total value is actually smaller than Daniel Jones. It's 4 years, 150 million. And at that, I think that contract's a fucking steal. I
Is it?
loved him while he was in Oakland. He was an
Wow.
MVP. He was up for an MVP.
Fucking 8 years ago.
But we're fine with paying Deshaun Watson after not playing for 2 years.
Yeah,
I
because
think Derek Carr is a good game managing talent, and I think at 35 mil a year, I think that's a good contract. 37.5, whatever the AAV comes out to, it's less than
he's not worth a penny over league vet minimum.
Shut up, man. No. It's a weird time when I agree with Chris on a quarterback take, but yeah, Derek Carr, it's not a bad like we're looking at bad contracts as like, oh, they didn't win a Super Bowl. Go ahead, Matt.
Hold on. Have you guys looked at the Saints cap situation? Every contract on that team is a bad contract. They're paying me $20 million a year. Look it up. It's the worst fucking team in sports.
Taysom Hill's making more money this coming year than Christian McCaffrey and Travis Kelce. I just think that's
their fullback.
They're
fullback in punt specialist.
There's been a lot of conspiracies about Tonio is the first one to bring this one up, so I just want to give him a shout out too again. That Taysom Hill has to be Sean Payton's like illegitimate son. There's no other reason to give this guy this much money. It's crazy to be like he's like a Tebow-esque like, oh, just fuck it, we'll just throw him in there and see what it's like.
I'm pretty sure he's not getting all that money. It's like he has to have so many like snaps played, so many rushing yards, so many passing, so many different things. He has all these different incentives that it's up to $13 million. So it's like if he throws for 800 yards in a season, that triggers a bonus. He hits 500 yards rushing, that triggers a huge bonus. So it's like a weird fucky contract.
Well, the Saints are still in cap hell. That doesn't change anything. No,
it's still awful. If he does that, it's worse for your team.
I just imagine Sean
Payton. But you still have to account for it in case he does it.
Whenever that contract was signed, I just imagine him walking in like fucking Arlie Army and a Full Metal Jacket. He just walks in. Hell, son, I like you. You could fuck my sister.
You can't argue that when a Taysom Hill game goes off, it's the best week. It's the best game that week when Taysom Hill is just going off.
Especially in fantasy.
When he's got 80 yards rushing.
26 points. No big deal.
Hey, man, that's a safety for
fantasy
the all-white team
40 out of nowhere.
Draft. Can't sleep on Taysom Hill.
Good point.
So number 9, Russell Wilson. I didn't hate the contract when it was first signed because Russell Wilson coming from Seattle to Denver, I thought that was going to turn Denver into a threat in that division. I didn't think they were going to overtake. I didn't think they were going to overtake KC, but I thought that would be the best division in football easily at that point.
And it was.
And then he went from somebody who people were complaining about never getting an MVP vote to people complaining about why the fuck is this guy still starting in 1 year. It's crazy how quick he fell.
He went
off.
from Mr. Unlimited to Mr. Very Limited.
Yeah.
I will say, though, that was good, man. I will say, though, I think Hackett got a lot of shit for it. So it was kind of like when Peyton came in, we were like, oh, well, hey, he'll fix Russ and everything will be kind of fine or whatever.
He did fix him now. Started out rough, but by that second half, Russ was
he
looking.
The last 2 games, which was weird, right?
That was a contract thing, though.
He threw for more touchdowns than toilets, so that's good.
That's all you had to do. That's all you had to do. All right,
that's Tonio's favorite stat. Number 10, Lamar Jackson. Absolutely worth every penny of it.
It's wild to hear you say, Chris.
I would never pay a running back that much.
Shut up. I will say, while we were doing the pre-show too, while you're here, Matt, we are kind of straying for topics, but I think we're doing really well with time. The Lions have a shit ton of cap space. And what's that about? How do y'all have so much cap space?
One, we're not paying a quarterback top 10. We're not paying wide receivers. We're barely paying a running back.
You're paying Jared Goff number 11. Okay, he's number 11.
Okay, that's not top 10.
He'll be making $31.65 million this coming season. Well, he'll be against the
compared
cap
to who is the top? Who is the top? 60 something, 63 million.
Deshaun Watson.
That's half. Cut in half. That's a big lots deal.
Yeah. Hey, big lots. Hey.
And then our number 1 wide receiver, fourth round draft pick, I could pay him his salary.
Is
Like,
he getting? Is he?
we're
getting
not
paid
doing
money
it.
yet?
I think he's still got
he's
one
coming
more
up on
year.
his contract. He's going to this year. But this year he'll still make nothing. And then we have all that cap, but we still have. We're tied for fourth most top 100 draft picks. So a lot of our cap is tied up in that. But like, we're not paying anybody on the team.
Well,
And
think
then
about
we just saved a bunch of cap. We cut Tracy Walker.
Yeah,
What?
I was gonna say Jameer Gibbs,
Yeah.
Sam Laporta, like these guys, like you're not paying anything yet. David Montgomery was like a luxury.
But I mean, for a running back, like Jameer Gibbs is making a lot because he was a first round draft pick. But like, that's still in the scheme of it, not a lot.
yeah,
Dude, here's the Lions' top 5 cap hits. Jared Goff at 31.6. Taylor Decker, left tackle, 19.1. Got to pay a left tackle.
Yeah.
Frank Ragnow, center, 12.8. Probably good to pay an elite center. Cameron Sutton, cornerback, 12.6. I don't know how good he is.
Garbage. We got to get him the
Lions'
fuck
pass
out of
defense
there.
was shaky. Okay, so yeah, he's about as bad as I was thinking. And then Aiden Hutchinson is their 5th highest paid player at 9.7.
he got drafted 2 years ago. That's crazy.
Yeah,
That's
Panay Sewell's right after that.
But that's
and
a
he's one
number
of the
2
best
overall pick.
tackles in the game. So like
No,
they're
but
paying the right
Panay's
position.
to get a deal out here. Panay
Those
is
are all
58.
our rookie contracts, but we need to not spend this money other than like 1-2 year deals. Because then in 2 years, we're going to have to pay all these guys.
Yeah.
And then we may be looking like the Saints. Hopefully not. I don't think Brad Holmes is that dumb.
No, I like Brad Holmes too.
I think he's got a.
You're gonna
I
have
think
to
he's
pay
got a
golf
finance
next
guy.
year too now. That cap hit's
Yeah,
gonna
but-
be going up.
Hey,
I think
as
Jared
long as he
Goff
doesn't hit
takes a pay cut.
63, we're good.
I think he takes a pay cut roughly to stick around.
No, he's gonna get more pay, but he's gonna maybe a discount.
No, and that's what I'm saying, a discount, not necessarily a pay cut.
Yeah, he's
But
not taking a cut. His pay is gonna go up, but he's not gonna go way up.
Yeah. But we can move into basketball. My biggest thing with the cap hit for these guys was Herbert's making $52.5 million a year towards the cap. And that's kind of fucking crazy because the Chargers are awful. They're not, it's not like they're like, oh, missing the playoff. Like they're bad. It's the top 10 draft pick. Like that, they're not good. And if your quarterback is making that much money, you should not be picking that high in the fucking draft.
Justin
He'll be
Herbert's
worth every
actually
penny
hitting
this year.
19.3 to the cut. Khalil Mack's counting 38.5 against
that
the
next
cut.
year?
Let me check real quick. That's coming into this coming year.
Oh, I think his cap hit will be next year then.
The cap hit for 25 will be 37.3.
Where did I get these numbers from? I got to figure that
I
out.
have no idea where you got these numbers from. If you're doing anything financial,
Probably
always
not
go to
Madden.
No.
Spelltrack.
No. Shut up, man.
on
These
Madden
aren't, no.
contract.
So these aren't cap hits. This is the highest average year salary. So like
AAV.
guaranteed and all that shit. But let's move on to basketball real quick. I didn't put this in notes. Chris did, but Jaquez,
Jack Vaughn
yeah, that guy.
or
The
Jack
Brooklyn
Reeves.
Nets head coach is fired. I don't know why that made the notes, but it did. Chris thought we were going to hurt for time, so I'm throwing it out there.
Hey, I just anything newsworthy that came up during the week, I threw that shit in the notes. So that popped up on my ESPN notifications. Just thought maybe it'd be something to talk about. I believe they signed him to an extension last offseason.
Yep.
So
Got him
to
the
fire
playoffs,
him,
but
yeah.
NBA coaching is so weird, dude. It's so weird. I don't understand it at all.
Because coaching
I don't know
doesn't
if we're gonna
matter
get
in
to
the
it.
NBA.
Go ahead, Matt.
But did you see the statement Doc released
No, go ahead.
when the Bucks? I forget the Adrian Griffin, their coach. I think that Andrew Griffin, whatever his name is.
Right.
When they fired him, Doc was talking to the ownership. I'm like, why are you doing this? This doesn't make any sense. And like, this is coming straight from Doc. And they're like, oh, well, it's already done. And obviously, if you're Doc, you're going to take the money, right? But you're like, why are you doing this? Like, I'm not going to change much. Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel confident in myself, but I don't feel like we're going to go out and win every game.
They've
Like,
lost
that's not
nearly
possible.
twice as many games as they've won underdog. It's been a fucking
Yeah.
embarrassment.
But that's so crazy. You get hired, and that guy's asking you, why are you doing this? Just looking you in the eye and shaking you. Why are you doing this?
Well, the Bucks also fired the guy that won them an NBA title a year
Coach Bud.
after. What the fuck?
That was a year ago, like a year and a half
The
ago.
Raptors fired the fuck
Dwayne
was his
Casey.
name? They fired the guy right after him too, didn't they? The one that took him to the
The
finals.
guy who won Coach of the Year.
Yeah,
That's the way Casey.
Nurse, was that it?
Nurse.
No, it was Dwayne Casey and then Nurse. There was like they were just producing Coaches of the Year over there.
Yeah,
Just fucking get him out of here. Fuck it. Like what the?
Yeah, you're
fuck?
gone too.
Like if that happened in the NFL, that would
Put that
be
on
the
your resume.
craziest fuck. Like we
well,
would be
coaching
sitting
matters in the NFL though. Like I don't. It.
And that's why Ron Rivera still had a coaching
past.
other jobs.
But to
Chris,
me,
you can't say
coaching.
coaching doesn't matter because what have those teams done without that coach?
What have the Spurs done with the best coach in NBA history as soon as Tim Duncan left?
Now I'm stuck. So
He's a great coach, though, isn't he? He looks real good being at the bottom of the standings the last couple of years. Like, this is my point. The NBA is driven by stars. If you have a star, you are going to win. If you do not have stars, you are not going to win. I don't give a fuck who your coach is. It doesn't matter. A coach may be able to take you from.
Look at the Bucks then. All right, we just did it. Look at the Bucks. Two stars. They were winning with the head coach. Fire the head coach, and now they're losing. Explain that.
Well, Antetokounmpo, whatever, Greek freak. I don't know how to say his last name still. He just came out and said he doesn't watch film. Giannis,
Mr.
yeah,
Google
whatever first
Pixel
name.
himself.
He doesn't watch film. He doesn't watch basketball. He likes to go in not knowing what opponents do because it makes it harder. He literally just came out with that like today or yesterday.
No way he said that.
Yes, he did. Look it up. Chris, Google it. Pull up the photo.
I did see the headline where it said he didn't watch film.
What the?
I don't know if he
He-
actually said that
Because
part.
he literally said it makes it harder. Buddy, you can't win, so watch something until you win, then do it.
Hey, that is fucking wild. I want it to be so hard. What the fuck? Oh my god!
I think coaching in the NBA has a very like a limited. I don't know what you would call it, like bandwidth that it can accomplish.
So, okay, let me raise you. Mark Jackson assembled the Golden State Warriors, did really awesome. Steve Kerr takes over, they win championships.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think he
He got fired a year too early.
I think if this is the talent that your team is, a coach can make it this on either end. Does that make sense? For people who are just listening, if you are a 10 to 21 team, a coach can take you to 5 to 15. Like they're either going to help you slightly or hurt you slightly. They're not going to take you from shit to great. Like Greg Popovich isn't taking the Spurs anywhere until he gets Tim Duncan 2.0. And Wemby, as good as he may be, he's not that yet.
I think Mark Jackson had the eye for talent, whereas Kerr has like the way to manage personalities, not really coach basketball any different. Like,
well, that's Phil Jackson.
If you have those, like looking back, like, what's that?
Well, that's Phil Jackson's mantra. Is he managed personalities crazily, extremely well. Chicago, then to LA.
But like basketball, it's 15 guys that have to play a year together. Like eventually they're gonna get pissed off at each other. Like you ate my pizza at the hotel, you fucking pissed in my bathroom. Like they're gonna get mad. So you just control that and like, okay, now we're playing basketball because we're the best in the world. If you maintain that, then it doesn't really matter. Like, all right, you're gonna go to the wing this play. Like basketball, it doesn't fucking matter. Go out there and play. Beat the guy in front of you. Like that's it.
How many coaches did LeBron make the finals with?
Probably 14. A new one every time.
He's been to 10.
Mike Brown, Ty Lue, Frank Vogel. Like, that's my point. No, if you got LeBron on your team during his prime, I could coach the fucking team. We're going to the finals. It's LeBron. Like that's my point in the NBA. Baseball is similar in that if you don't have dudes, it doesn't matter how good your manager is, you're not going to do shit. Football is the only
You're just
sport
there.
where
You're there to develop them and then coach them and guide them. Like not like coach them X's and O's. Like you're just there like, hey, you should probably move your elbow in when you hit this jump shot, or you should do this, right? But then when they're actually playing in the game, you're just walking up and down the court like, God damn, I wish I had a beer right now. Fuck, this is a good game. Like that's all you're doing.
So explain the Rays. If we're let's move it to baseball real quick. You don't need coaching in baseball, like you said, Chris. You need stars, right? You need dudes. Yeah. What about the Rays? The Rays went to a fucking World Series with who? Blake Snell. I think Blake Snell was their ace. Great pitcher.
Blake Snell, I believe, won a Cy Young that year.
Yeah, didn't pay him.
Yeah, they traded him to get more dudes that then come up years later and contribute. Like, that's the Rays formula. The Rays are doing what the Lions are doing now. They knock it out of the fucking park with young guys making pennies on the dollar.
And trade raping people like the Tigers. We get a guy who's on suicide watch the entire time we got him, and we give him a guy who's an up-and-coming prospect, and he hits fucking 35 home runs, and we got a guy who's crying in the corner all game. That's exactly what happened. The guy played like 10 games for us, and he hit like 27 home runs with them, comes to Detroit, and he's like, I don't want to. That's literally what happened.
Hey, look, Detroit's a sad city, man. That's all.
No. Not the Tigers. That's a classic ball club. You should be proud to play.
I will say they're what are we looking for? Their city uniforms.
Oh, I'm so excited. I hope it has a Little Caesars pizza on it.
Dude, no, it needs to just put the damn Tiger back in the D. I don't understand. Like, is this a hard thing to do? Like, put the Tiger back in the D. I don't understand.
That's my favorite logo.
Put the star behind the T. I don't understand what we're doing. Like, what is going on? It's pissing me off. It's bad.
As long as you don't put the D in the Tiger.
Also, wait, have you guys seen the thing about the new jerseys this year compared to last year?
Oh God.
Where Fanatics and Nike totally tanked the quality of them. Like, you know how in the back it has like the line and then the MLB logos above it?
Yeah.
It looks like
now
jerseys
it's below
from
it,
Wish.
and it looks like a T-shirt. Yeah. They're like
terrible.
The quality sucks. There's so many players outraged right now that the MLB's like, hey, we need to get this fixed before the regular season starts. These jerseys are trash.
Major league players wearing high school jerseys with major league logos on them. It's pathetic.
I will say Fanatics, as much as I use them, they are not of high quality. This shirt,
but they're the ones who make most of Nike's stuff.
Trash, dude. It's bad. In NFL, I think for the Ravens, I have one Fanatic shirt, but all my Ranger shirts are Fanatic shirts, and they're all shitty compared to my Raven shirts by like a pretty big fucking margin. It's not even like no. Like this shirt is fucking shit. This is a shitty fucking.
You know what the crazy thing is? Is when you order a jersey through Fanatics, right? It might be a Nike jersey, but Fanatics is the one assembling it through an approved Nike facility. It's not coming directly from Nike. It's coming from Fanatics.
I didn't know that. That's crazy.
Who's the owner of Fanatics? He used to own the 76ers. He throws those parties as well. What's his name?
I don't know. This is all new information.
Rick. It's not Rick Rubin, is it? Is that the guy's name? He used to own the 76ers. He just recently sold them.
Yeah, he's a music producer.
No, it's Rick something or something with R's. But whatever. He used to own the 76ers. He owns Fanatics. He sold the 76ers to take Fanatics to the next level, basically. But he was talking about it on a podcast. I think it was like Pardon My Take or, I don't know, some podcast I listened to. And he was like, yeah, we have these Nike-approved facilities where we can make the jerseys, cuts down on shipping costs, cuts down all this. Instead of like them being a middleman, they're now the man. Just partnered with Nike.
Oh, shit.
So, like, that's why the jerseys are shit, because it's Nike and Fanatics. And Fanatics like, we could make these so much cheaper. All they did was move the logo down and just give them shit quality. And it's Fanatics making the actual jerseys that the MLB players wear. And also the pants, they're not fitted to the player like they were in previous years. Like damn, those pants fit that guy like a paintbrush. Like
Oh
they
yeah, I saw
painted him
something
on.
about that
Not
too.
anymore.
Like the
It's just medium, large, extra large. What size do you wear? Not, hey, you have a 35-inch waist in between sizes. Nope, you're getting 36.
the pants are completely uncustomizable now. Was
I didn't
basically
know
the
that.
headline
That's
that I saw.
crazy. Where it's like
Yeah.
Eric Gagne, one of his things in his contract was like, I want baggy pants. I remember that for a long time. Like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? But he did like his legs, his shins had a lot of
Manny
pants.
Ramirez was another one. All his shit was super baggy when he played.
Yeah, his
Oh,
jersey. I remember his
he
jersey
wore four
was
sizes too big.
as fuck. But let's go on to the NBA All-Star game on Sunday. I watched I had it on, but I didn't really give a shit.
Were you one of the people who was a part of the lowest viewership in the last 30 years that watched it?
Technically, I don't know when they do. I don't know how they get the viewership numbers, but I definitely was not. I didn't stick around.
I mean, they probably went house to house with this one and just asked people if they watched it. It was so fucking low.
Yeah, so bad.
To be honest, they did a terrible job. They did a terrible job of coming out and saying like All-Star Weekend. I didn't see a single commercial. Didn't see anything on my phone. And then that this Monday, I woke up. It was like, Mac McClung won the dunk contest. I was like, I missed the All-Star the entire weekend. Like, I don't even know who won. Who won, the East or the West? I still don't know.
I don't know either.
They both lost.
Exactly. And doesn't it have an impact
East
in the
won,
finals?
No.
Oh yeah, no, it's just baseball. The only fucking sport that does it right.
The only sport that does it right. And it's so watching. So I didn't watch anything. I missed. So I really was intrigued with Steph and Sabrina. I can't say her last name. I thought that was super cool. They were doing 3-point shootout with them two. Thought that was awesome. But I missed it again because it, like Matt said, now that I'm thinking about it, yeah, dude. You know what's crazy? Like I watched the Daytona 500 over the fucking All-Star game. Now that I'm thinking about it, because I didn't care. But the Daytona 500 was advertised.
No, the Daytona 500 happened on Monday, so you watched the rain delay. I knew that.
No.
So you watched them just it rained a lot. That's what you watched then.
You
watched rain on a track.
So I did watch on Monday. I watched, but I remember watching it as opposed to remembering watching the fucking All-Star game.
But you know what's crazy? A guy who doesn't even watch NASCAR, I probably can't even name two drivers, but I still watch. I watch basketball around this time to playoffs, after the All-Star break. I didn't even know the All-Star happened, but I knew the Daytona 500 was postponed.
Yeah.
How? I could give a fuck less about racing. I'll go watch cricket before I watch racing.
Yeah, cricket's like baseball, though. It's not that bad.
I know, it's pretty cool, but it's a circle, not a diamond.
It's a circle.
The biggest stadiums are cricket stadiums, by the way.
Eternity. But yeah, so Chris, you got into the viewership. Did you watch any of it?
Fuck no. I haven't watched an All-Star game in at least 10 years at this point.
Why are they doing so bad? Why don't you want to watch it?
For the same reason why I watch less and less regular season games every single year. The players have proven that they no longer give a fuck about the game. So why would I, as a viewer, give a fuck about watching the people who don't give a fuck playing it?
But can I add something?
Go ahead.
Wasn't there a thing? I know. Wasn't it this year that Adam Silver implemented? You have to play 62 games to be qualified for MVP and all that, right? So it almost makes them have to play 2/3 of the games.
65. Yep.
I don't know if that was implemented this year.
78% or something to that effect. Yeah. And the players were complaining about that. Oh, we have to go to work 3 out of every 4 days this year. So it's fucking horrible. I don't know how we're going to do it. I don't know. Maybe the way that all the actual elite players that came before you did it for fucking 60 years while they were flying on coach with regular fucking citizens being 6'37".
Talk to any baseball player.
In a fucking plane seat where their goddamn knees were touching the fucking bags. Jesus, I don't know. They
baseball,
fucking managed it.
You play 162 games. You play a game till 3 a.m. and wake up and play a game at 11. And then you fly across country just to play the fucking Baltimore Orioles while you were just in Seattle 2 days ago. Give me a break.
Yeah,
It
it's an
is crazy.
embarrassment, man. There was something like I think it was 163 pointers attempted this game, and it was I think the picture that I saw was 20 years ago. There was like 15 attempted the whole game.
Well,
Like
you
that's
can't.
all the game is. It's an NBA game turned all the way up to like 30. That's what it is. It's just nonstop 3-pointers,
That's the way
long
the game is
rebounds, no
gone.
defense. Yeah, but it's at least in the NBA. Like, let me put it to you like this: y'all shit on Luka for not playing defense. Luka is compared to the All-Star game defense. Luka would be like if you put Ben Wallace and Tony Allen together in one fucking body. He's the best goddamn defender you've ever seen in your fucking life if all you ever saw was an NBA All-Star game. It's a fucking joke.
It
I
is.
have no interest in watching two teams play fucking shoot around for 2 hours. No, thank you.
So we got.
I just thought about this.
Go ahead, Matt.
So we just talked about the percentage you have to play so many games, right? Now they're going to try less because if you do get hurt in the All-Star game, you're completely out of it. If you miss 10 games after the All-Star, you're out of the award. So, like, why even participate or play in it now? So, like, yeah, it's good on one end, but now it ruins a huge TV product. I didn't even think about that, but it's possible.
Yeah, but say you're Giannis and say you're let's do like LeBron, Jokic, Giannis, and Embiid, right? If you win the All-Star game, if the East wins, then the East has home court advantage. I really think that's a simple fix. They're gonna have to care at least a little bit to where like, oh shit, if my Sixers make the finals or if my Bucks make the finals, we have home court advantage. If you're LeBron, if you're Jokic.
I think that's true to an extent, but I think players are smart enough to know if their team really has a shot at a title in a given year. And the reality is the vast majority of teams in the sport don't have a fucking chance to compete.
Well, what about the in-season tournament? The like the money.
That's how they need to do
Garbage.
it. Give the players a money incentive. The winner of the All-Star game, every player gets $1 million each. The loser gets fucking nothing.
Yeah, but if I'm LeBron James, again, I'll just use the big names I just did. If I'm LeBron, Giannis, Embiid, Joker, I don't give a fuck.
LeBron played his ass off for what? 2 months playing for $500,000
for his guys. And me and Antonio have made this argument. He did that so his younger guys that got that money, he's like, I need you when we get to the fucking playoffs. Now, as opposed to an All-Star game, who gives a fuck about the rest of these really great players making this money? That's why I don't think it's a fix. I think the fix is. Go ahead, Matt.
I think that's a good point. Like you said, $1 million is what on each All-Star? Is it the same regulation? Like 15 players make the All-Star game on each side?
Yeah.
So what? That's 15 million the NBA has to dish out of $1 billion corporation. Like if it's $1 million, some of those guys first-time All-Star, unless you're LeBron, like you're still not like $1 million is still a lot to you, that guy. Like, fuck, I'm gonna win. At least I'm gonna try. I'm going to get 20 rebounds and fucking score 50 points this game. I'm going to be Jason Tatum when he scored like 60 a couple years ago.
That half that's trying is going to say, get these motherfuckers off the court. I'm not playing with them because I want my fucking money.
Yeah.
So but they're either going to try or they're not going to play.
Yeah. Sorry, LeBron. Get your billion-dollar fucking ass off the court.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Because Kobe brought it up. He was like, these people who go to the All-Star game, they want to see the best in the world play a basketball game, and the best in the world don't want to play another basketball game. They don't want to play another one, bro. They don't
want to play the games that they get paid to play during the fucking regular season.
And why? That's why money's not going to fix it. It has to be an actual advantage. It's kind of like if I don't know if you guys have ever seen Survivor, but it needs to be like a hidden immunity idol. Like that's what needs to fucking be at.
But there's going to be. On most of those, like he said, how many teams are, legitimately going to make a run in the playoffs? There's going to be teams like next year, let's say Cade Cunningham makes the All-Star game. Are the Pistons going to the world or the finals next year? No, 100% no. I'll put $1 million on it. They won't, right? So why should he try more than someone else who's not? So he's just going to be like, fuck it, keep me on the bench. Like this has nothing to do with me. I have nothing to gain out of this.
You throw him $1 million for a win, I bet he plays his fucking nuts off.
Exactly. Because he probably only makes $7 million now. That's a seventh of his salary just by playing one game.
Nobody's there to see Cade Cunningham in the All-Star game. They're there to see LeBron, Luka, Giannis, Joker, Embiid.
Yeah,
That's who they're there to see.
but that's
They're
not to
not
say
there
what
to
if.
see what we've seen the last 10 years, Billy.
But that's not to say because when Luka entered the league, he wasn't Luka. Like, oh, this fucking European guy. I've heard he's good. People,
Yes, he was.
Cade Cunningham, number. I'm not.
Oh,
Okay, yeah, but no one was paying to see Luka right away. They're like, oh shit, this guy, I heard he's good. Like, ears up. Same thing with Cade. Oh, number 1 overall draft pick, right? And then you like in front of the best players in the world, he balls out. This is hypothetically, just because Cade was a number 1 overall pick, right?
Yeah.
But he balls out. He's fucking saucing up LeBron or whatever. When LeBron still got money on the line too. He wins. Oh shit, he won. Now his reputation's up a little bit because everyone knows that they were actually trying in that game, and it wasn't just Dame shooting, 3-quarter shots. Like,
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah.
I didn't, pay $70 a month for TV to watch this for 20 minutes.
yeah. No, that's true. That's a good point. I'll concede to that. And damn it, Chris left for this topic. Let's do best draftable players. I don't know where Chris is at. Best draftable players that aren't quarterbacks in the 2024 NFL draft. Matt, go ahead.
That aren't quarterbacks?
Yep.
I'm trying to think of a few because I know we're probably going to go a couple rounds here. Right away, I'm going to say Joe Alt from Notre Dame.
Okay. Have you seen him? I've seen a couple mock drafts where he's getting picked 10th, 11th, 12th in that area. You think that's kind of crazy?
I think it's kind of low, but I think it's also the rise of all the quarterbacks. Because at first it was Drake May, Caleb Williams, but now it's like, okay, now we're going to push Jaden Daniels in there. We're going to push J.J. McCarthy in the top 10. So then it's pushing all these position players down, and it's just going to be top 10 with see the last, like, I feel like forever draft with a lot of first-round quarterbacks, but
yeah, I've seen JJ in the top 10 in a couple mocks, and I'm like, ugh. And you can say what you want, but I'm sitting here like, I don't like it.
Sounds early.
Chris, same question to you. Top talent that's not a quarterback in the draft.
The trio of receivers was the first 3 that immediately came to mind. Harrison Jr. How do you say the guy from Washington? Adunze?
Rome Adunze, yeah.
And then Malik Neighbors.
Do you think those guys go in the top 15, all 3 of those receivers?
I think Harrison and Neighbors definitely. For all 3 to go in the top 15, I think so. In the top 10, I think one of them maybe slips out, but I think they'll definitely go in the top 15.
Because I think the same thing. So Matt
here
brought up Joe Alt. So I'm going to bring Joe Alt, the guy I'm not going to be able to say his name, from Penn State. Ominyi Fashan?
Olu Fashitoni
Yes, bingo.
or Olagun.
Bingo. That
Aloma
yes.
Fashanu? Something like that.
Yeah, that might be better, Chris. And then another guy, I can't say his fucking name. Talise Fugoye from Oregon State.
Washington.
Oregon State, yeah. And then J.C. Latham from Alabama. I mean, the tackle talent in this draft is also fucking crazy. And I think these teams, and we've talked about it with these cap hits for these quarterbacks, I think a lot of teams might look around trading up to come get one of these tackles with this quarterback heavy draft. I think someone's going to need tackles, man. Look at the Bengals, the Ravens, the Broncos, the Chargers will probably take another tackle. I mean, people have them getting a tight end for no fucking reason. If you got Justin Herbert, like Chris has been saying, he has all this talent in the world. Let's protect this fucking guy. It's kind of bonkers to me that we're just kind of ignoring a tackle in a lot of these drafts. Even the Chiefs, who need a receiver, I could see them waiting for a receiver in the second round, even if it's the fucking 64th pick or whatever it is for the second round, getting themselves a receiver, but go ahead and get another tackle that's not Jawan Taylor, fucking false starting every 5 seconds. But we always have this every year. We have this crop of quarterbacks that either are good or are not good enough, but you still got to, like last year's draft was not a good quarterback draft. CJ Stroud was the best quarterback in the draft. He went number 2. I mean, shit. There's all these crazy things that are going to happen. But Brock Bowers is one of my favorite ones where he's on a big board, on some big boards. We'll get to the Brick Shots big board later. But on a lot of big boards, he's top 5, and I don't understand why. He's a tight end. I'm sorry. He's not changing the game like that. That's not how it works.
Are they going just off the talent, you think, then?
No, even if they are.
I think it is.
Yeah, but I'm saying it's a tight end talent. So a guy is not going to be number 5 on my board. It's strictly because he's a fucking tight end. Maybe top 15, like Chris just said, maybe a top 15 guy. But Brock Bowers is not going to be the guy that you're like, all right, let's invest into this dude because he's really good at.
I think in the modern NFL, like a tight end and a receiver is almost interchangeable if the talent is equal.
Yeah, because you're going to draft him. He's not just going to play. He's not going to be Rob Gronkowski where he's going to be, blocking and then faking and then running out. He's going to be in your slot, and he's still going to be a 4.5, 4.4 guy potentially. Now, if he runs a 4.6 or something, tank him. But he'll probably be low 4.5s, maybe high 4.4s, because when he got the ball in Georgia, he was gone. Like, he was just gone. There was no stopping.
What was Kyle Pitts at Florida? What happened?
Yeah. But that's different. Kyle Pitts in Florida
Arthur
was
Smith
okay.
doesn't like giving his talented players the ball ever.
We keep saying that, and
Yes.
Atlanta's going to keep struggling. Just watch. I don't think Kyle Pitts is that guy. Everyone wants him to be. He's the Justin Herberts of tight ends.
Yeah, but also Kyle Pitts, I believe, is just playing the wrong position. He should just be a wide receiver. That he should not have his hand in the dirt at all, ever. Which
That's fair. That's good.
Whatever.
I think tight end is more or less just a way for teams to get wide receiver production at half the price. Like Travis Kelce's making $16 million a year. If his position said WR instead of TE, he'd be a $30 million player.
That's a fair point.
And the only thing that would be changed would be his position.
And where did he go?
Oh, in the draft?
In the 3rd round. Where did Rob Gronkowski go? 2nd round.
Late.
You don't draft these. Name me a tight end in the 1st round that is like, oh, this guy's the fucking man. I'll give you one. Mark Andrews was not even the first tight end taken from the team that took him. I mean, fuck. Tight ends should not go in the 1st round. What did
Well, it's a value proposition too. If I know, like, Brady is a bad example because nobody thought he was going to be Brady, but if I know I can get Tom Brady in the 6th round, why would I take him in the 1st and the 2nd and the 3rd and the 4th and the 5th? If I know I can get a tight end with the 15th pick of the draft and I'm drafting 5, and I think he's just as good as Rome or Neighbors, I'm going to fucking trade down and I'm going to get my guy while accumulating a draft pick. Like, that's part of the fun of the draft. Just because a guy's a top 5 talent doesn't mean you have to take him top 5 if you can get him at 15.
Well, let me raise you another thing, and I'll bring the Cowboys back into it for you, Chris. They wanted Dalton Kincaid, right, from Utah, and the Bills went up a spot before the Cowboys and took him. And the Cowboys,
Eagles did it with Goddard too years ago.
And what have the Cowboys done? Dalton Schultz, great fucking pick, great value. They got him. Look at Jake Ferguson, great pick, great value. They got him. You don't need to fucking go in the 1st round, huh?
Scoon.
And it just blows my mind. Like we're because a tight end is
teams fall in love with players though, Billy. Like that's why they want to trade up to get a guy that they think is
not a fucking tight end,
generational talent.
Tight end. That's a worse pick than taking a fucking running back. That's worse.
Jahmyr Gibbs was a pretty good pick.
And where did you get Laporta?
34, almost the 1st round.
Almost the 1st round, not the 1st round though.
I would still like my props, my flowers. Best tight end in the draft, Sam Laporta, before the draft even started. So, thank you.
Nope, I gave you the flowers. I texted you those.
I just
flowers.
want him every episode just so I can keep living off that.
Matt, you know you got to show up for the episodes to get the flowers, right?
Ooh, jeez.
Hey, I missed 2 episodes. All right, take it easy. 3
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah, 3, I think.
Wasn't that many.
But let's get to we'll end the show on this one. Fair or foul, Chris.
Man, I've been waiting for this one.
Lowest priority. You want to fucking give some reasoning to that name?
Oh man, I wish I could remember the exact question that was asked. Billy, go ahead and fill some time. I'm going to see if I can find the exact wording of the question.
So fair or foul is going to be a baseball topic now that baseball season is getting close to being started. Of if we think it's fair or a foul, insert comment or take, particularly shitty swing, Matt. But take
I'm trying
on
to keep it in the camera.
baseball this season. Now, Matt, wildly early prediction: who's in the World Series and who wins the World Series?
Oh damn, put me on the spot here.
Yes.
I want to fucking say this. Dodgers from the NL. I fucking hate that I'm saying this. I know as soon as the season starts, just like the Cowboys, get them the fuck out of there. Don't care. But I feel like they just have too many pieces to not. Like,
Yeah.
They just re-signed Kershaw for like a bag of Girl Scout cookies. Like, get the fuck out.
Clayton Kershaw's old as fuck. Like, he's getting old. It's crazy. I feel old just knowing that he's
They just got to save him for the playoffs.
Yeah.
Dodgers, and you said also who wins it?
Yeah.
I'm going to say Dodgers, Orioles.
Whoa.
Dodgers got them.
I think if the Orioles get there, they're sweeping. They're getting swept by the fucking Dodgers. I'm sorry.
Hey, Orioles a pretty good team, right?
They're pretty good. They're all right.
And they're young.
But I'm still going to buy my time. The Yankees. I don't care what anyone says. The Yankees. I hate it, but hey, that's
Same argument.
argument. The Yankees and the Dodgers. I think this is the year we get it. It's going to be the highest viewed World Series in fucking 20 years.
They didn't
probably
even make the playoffs last year.
Hey, the Yankees do that though. They fucking they pay,
rebuild,
they fuck it up, they pay again, and they figure it out. That's the Yankees.
John Carlos lost like 45 pounds.
Hey, he might not strike out 300 times this year, so we'll see.
He might actually run.
Strike out.
He might actually run.
He might be able to move out of the batter's box.
Did you guys see when he was like running to third or to home and he was barely moving? But then they put like highlights when he won MVP and he was just fucking all over the bags, just stealing bases. But they now that he's got pinstripes on him, he's just.
I'm pretty sure Albert Pujols ran faster than him in his final year.
Hey, Albert was trying to do some things out there. He was not.
So
he wanted another ring so bad.
I got the exact question, but I was just listening to the interview, and he was going on for like a minute before this exact question was asked, talking about he's like, every year before the season, I get a list of pros and cons together about playing and not playing, and I've been doing this since 2014, and I'm surprised I made it this long. And the guy was like, oh, okay, so what's changed for you? He was like, well, I got a wife now. I've got 4 kids. And then he's like, it's not a priority for me. And then the guy goes like, so baseball isn't a top priority for you? And this was the exact question before the quote. He said, it's never been a top priority for me. This is a job. I do this to make a living. My faith, my family come first before this job. So if those things come before it, I'm leaving. And then the reporter went on to ask, the reporter tried to give him a chance to walk it back, basically. He
trying
said,
to throw softballs, and he's just not taking it.
Yeah. He said, so is it a priority? He said, oh, it's a priority for sure because it's my job. I'm here, aren't I? So he's just look, everything else comes first. Baseball comes like 32nd. You know, I'll come to the stadium whenever I feel like it. But I'm asking before the game, do I got to bat a fourth time if it comes to it? Like, do you really need me in the box a fourth time? I don't know if I can do that one, coach. I just, So it's the great thing. I think my favorite thing about this, aside from it being the Angels, just signing another player to a horrifically bad contract, is he's never played 60 games in a season in the 4 years that he's been signed under this deal. Like, not to mention his play on the field has gotten worse. He's never finished a third of the season, roughly. 60 games is a little more than a third, but I mean, this is oh man, where do we even start with this? Like, as a quote, I don't think it's, if you take out the whole like he's playing a kid's game and all that, like at the end of the day, it's a job. Anytime you get paid for something, it becomes a job. There's responsibilities and expectations of you to where it's no longer just something that you do for fun. Like I know me and Billy, we played baseball in high school. I played baseball before that. I don't know if Matt played ball, but at that point, you're not getting paid. Like, you're doing it for the love of the game. You're doing it because you enjoy it. Whatever it is about it that you enjoy, that's why you're doing it. When you're at a point where you're now a professional, there's obligations that you have regarding this thing that used to be a hobby to you. And at that point, like for a lot of people, and I can speak from experience on this, anytime you treat something as a job, like the joy slowly starts to evaporate from it, because it's no longer like I'm doing this in my free time. I'm doing it because I want to. It's now I'm doing it to a schedule. I'm doing it because I have to. And like, for example, if this podcast gets to the point where I think all would like it to get to, where it becomes a revenue generating entity, like there's going to be certain things we may no longer be able to talk about in the detail that we do, because it's not going to get viewership. It's not going to get plays, listens, whatever. We're going to have to talk about certain topics, whether we want to discuss them or not, which at that point, the fun level is going to slowly start to go down, but you're making money off of it. So I get where Rendon is coming from. The problem arises from, what is it?
You just don't say it? Like,
Like the problem comes from, you're in a locker room with guys for 180 days, 6 months out of a season. And that's not counting if you make the playoffs, which you don't get paid really for playoff baseball. You're paid for the regular season. And if you're with guys that do still love the game, like he played with this past season, he played with Shohei Ohtani, who wanted to continue pitching and hitting even though his fucking arm was falling apart. He's played since he's been there with Mike Trout, whose body's been fucking deteriorating rapidly. Yeah. And he's no longer close to the player that he once was. And these are guys who clearly love the game, and they go all out for a team that has been a fucking embarrassment for the last 20 years. And you got Rendon here who's just like, yeah, I don't give a fuck if I play or not. I'm just here to collect a paycheck. That's it. It's just like if you're in a locker room full of 26 guys, I don't want that guy in my locker room. Just based off of that interview.
I'm going to raise you, or that's the exact guy I want in the locker room, because it is, dude, it's a fucking, it's like, you know what? Okay, so you said take out the playing a kid's game, all that stuff, right? You brought up a great point. You play early for the love of the game. Now, how many people played early for the love of the game, or is that just a stepping stone to get to the money? That's where I think we always misconstrue it, where, oh, college, you're in there for the love of the game. No, you're not. You're in there to go to the NFL before NIL. You're in there to go for money. If you're a high school player now, you go to college so you can earn some money now, right? Or you're playing very well so you can go get that degree to earn the money. Everything's always about the paycheck. It doesn't fucking matter if you care. Now, you fucking construe the whole organization as the MLB as a whole, then yes, the Dodgers. We're here to win games. We want to win World Series. Now, if you're in Texas, even though we are World Series champions, just want to throw that out there. You go there to get fucking paid. You don't give a fuck about any of that. The Angels, you just said all their horrible contracts. CJ Wilson, did he go there to win fucking championships? No.
Pujols, Hamilton.
Boom. Hamilton. I mean, again, Rendon, that fucking contract's bad too. These players don't give a fuck about the game ever, and they never will. You can say Shohei fucking wants to win games. I don't fucking believe that for a second. Look at his goddamn contract. He's going to get that money regardless, however it happens. Now, does he want to win World Series? Probably.
He's getting paid $2 million a year for the length of the contract. He's getting $68 million the decade after it when he's not playing for the team anymore. I'd say he's giving up $68 million a year. He wants to win.
He wants to win, but it's about the fuck. He didn't sign a fucking $60 million 10-year deal. He signed $700 million for what was it, 10 years, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but he structured it in a way where he's not seeing $650 million of that until after he's done playing.
And then he's gonna get the money though, Chris. You're acting like he's not seeing any of that money. He's still gonna fucking get it. It's about money in every aspect of the fucking work. But I just said the Dodgers specifically, that's where you go to win championships. That's where you go to care about winning championships. I'm saying the other organizations, it's all about the fucking bag. Every organization. Doesn't matter.
My turn.
Go ahead, Matt.
I have zero issue with this at all. The only issue I have is the guy who said it. So, like, if Derek Jeter came out and was like, my family, my faith comes before baseball, everyone would be like, absolutely, Derek. You're one of the best players of all time. We can totally see if your daughter's got a cavity, you got to go. You can't play that game. We understand. But now that Rendon says it, just because it's everyone's thinking, so here at this podcast, is this your priority? Bailey pauses it all the time when his kids are crying, right? So that obviously this podcast isn't number one priority. It's maybe 2 or 3, right? So he's got to pause it to go take care of that because that's the actual priority. This is, something fun that he likes to do. But, if something else is happening, I'm fucking out of here, right? So that's the same, like, I don't blame him at all.
We know, Matt.
Hey, exactly.
If the grocery store is closing in 30 minutes, fuck the podcast.
No, for my time, it's a terrible time. I'm just saying. But so like Rendon, like, hey, just before your first at bat, there's a gun to your wife's head, and they're gonna put her feet pics on Feet Finder. You got to go stop the gunman. I'm gonna hit this 3-round bomb real quick, or I'm gonna strike out. No, he's probably just gonna leave, and some fucking other idiot from the Angels is gonna get subbed in.
How many times have we seen, this player missed because his wife is giving birth? All the fucking time. Now,
I think it really depends on the player, though, Billy. Like Matt gave the perfect example with Jeter. He's showing up every day. You're seeing him put the work in and day out. Rendon's not even showing it. He's playing less games a season than an NBA player, and there's twice as many games as he could play.
See, that was my only issue.
He's not making any effort to be on the fucking field playing with his guys that he's sharing a locker room with.
It's who said it. Everyone.
Yeah, it's who said it. Yeah, he's not playing, but everyone's still thinking the same way. No one in the locker room's gonna be like, this fucking bum, right? And they'll be like, I fucking feel the same exact way. I just happen to play every game because I maybe like it a little more.
Because think about it, if you're like it's like for work. Are your kids sick? Yeah, I'm gonna take care of them. I don't give a fuck about Albertsons. I don't know where you work. Sorry. Fuck them.
But I don't make any misconceptions that I don't like my job. I don't like working in general. But at the end of the day, I'm still showing up my 5 days a week, busting my ass to do my part of my job
for the money.
For the money, exactly. But Rendon's not busting his ass to show up every day of the week. He's not putting in the time. He's not putting in the work. He's not doing his job.
Oh, I see where you're coming from. Yeah.
So when it's coming from somebody like that,
when the Nationals went to the World Series.
Yeah, and won.
And he cashed in, just like your favorite NFL quarterbacks.
Yeah, he got by on.
Now, what if Dak came out and said the same exact thing?
I don't like him anyway because he doesn't beat teams that matter.
But he shows up. Exactly. He's playing. He's trying. That's what you're saying.
Oh, if you're talking about that quote specifically, like, I'm just doing it for the money, like, it's obvious you're just doing it for the money because you don't fucking play well against the teams that you need to play well against. I don't need you to fucking say it. I see it. I see it based on how you play the same way I see it with how Rendon plays day in and day out, or rather doesn't play, because he's missed 2/3 of the game damn near since he's been signed to this contract. Like, I don't know. I think there's some things where even if you think it, you shouldn't say it because, like I said, if you're sharing a locker room with guys, like the NFL, we hear this all the time. Players play hurt constantly.
Yeah.
If you got a player on a team that's like, yeah, I don't really give a fuck about this job. I don't want to play. I don't feel 100% today. Like, everybody in that locker room is going to be looking at him like, motherfucker, I ain't felt good since January.
I
Fuck do
feel
you
like
mean
the
you don't
NFL's
feel
a
good
bad
and you don't want
analogy.
to play today? But baseball is the same way. Like, I don't think it's any different. You're in a locker room with the alpha males, professional athletes, and you got a marathon season. Like, you don't think every player in that fucking locker room is tired from playing 4-hour baseball games in 100-degree weather?
The difference is that Rendon's locked into his $35 million a year or whatever it is. He can miss all those games. I got paid, right? NFL, it's incentive laden. So, like, if you hurt, you got a cracked rib or something, like, fuck, I need to get one more sack to get $700,000. You're gonna do that.
Who the fuck is gonna pick you up in a baseball locker room and push you against the wall and be like, you better fucking do something, or this ain't gonna end good?
Quarterback's money is practically fully guaranteed. They still go out there and try to play even when their fucking thumb is falling off their hand, like Matt Stafford this year.
Justin Herbert didn't do that.
I don't think that was Herbert's decision. The season's over for their team.
Now it's not. Let's see. But let's put a book note in that because we can do this for hours. But this 3-man show, it made great time for the topics that we were dealt. We did kind of throw a dud topic out there, but we kind of moved around, kind of amoebaed it, sitting into the glass water. I thought it was a great show. Matt, did you think it was good or what?
I had fun.
You gonna eat another baked potato?
Yeah, I ate my only baked potato.
Sad.
Man, a baked potato does sound good. A loaded potato with some brisket, barbecue, bacon bits, cheese, butter.
That's it. That's basically I had slow cooker barbecue beef on it. So basically the same.
When I was go visit my barbecue joint this weekend.
When I was working at Dickey's, every single day, it was a baked potato with mashed potatoes on top, barbecue brisket on top. I know. Corn and Fritos chips with fucking spicy barbecue sauce all over that motherfucker every day that I worked.
What the fuck is that, Billy?
It was so good. It's like a twice baked potato.
Mashed potatoes on the mashed potato.
On the baked potato, yes. It was mashed on a baked potato. So
what you mash, so it becomes mashed potato.
So I gained probably like 27 pounds in like a month and a half of working at Dickies because I ate that every day.
That's a 2,000 calorie bomb right there.
No, it was like 4,600 calories every. Like
holy shit,
it was so good. That was probably my favorite meal ever. But Chris, how'd you like the show? It was a little different without Tonio, I thought.
Felt like we covered I don't necessarily want to say a wide range of topics because we spent like 45 minutes on quarterback discussion, which is probably my favorite thing ever to talk about. But we got all the sports, got some good topics. I felt in a slow week. It was a fun and entertaining show for me personally.
That's all it's about, though. Appreciate it. We'll see you guys next week. Hopefully, Tonio's back. Thanks.